Welcome back to another episode of the Know Your Power podcast. I'm your host, Julia Renee.
And Kendall Graboff.
And today, guys, is the first episode of Gym Girl Basics.
Dun, dun, dun. We need to add one of the little buttons.
Hold on. Wait. Gym Girl Basics.
Oh, no. Not a good sound. Is it going to go forever?
I literally put crickets.
They're also very, annoying sounding crickets.
And that's sad because I just made it sound so lame. But what I meant to do is Gym Girl Basics.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, come on.
How pretty.
Super cute. So cute. We're in this new gym girl era where it's everything's so extra. You know what I mean? And I'm a part of it.
In what way?
Just what I've been seeing on TikTok lately, everything is just, it's so extra. You know what I mean? The way that people are doing things is so extra. I see, and I'm super jealous of it, but the girls that when they're, the gym girl get ready with me's, I do a couple of them too. And all of them are doing their hair so cute for the gym. And I'm like, damn.
All I ever do is the hairstyle I have right now, which is the half up pigtails, because I literally am incapable of doing anything else.
Mine's little side pony or giant messy bun on top. And then there's girls that do their hair so nice and slickety slick.
Nope, couldn't be me.
You literally can see yourself in their hair.
In their hair gel.
But for me, I'm I'm trying to get my hair through an entire week without washing it.
Yeah.
And if I put gel in it, doesn't that defeat the purpose?
I don't use products. I don't straighten it. I just let it kind of live its life.
Yeah, I think those are the girls that wash their hair every day. That's a different kind of breed.
Yeah.
Comment below, guys. Yeah. Let us know. Do you wash your hair every day?
I will say it's not just the women. Some of these men fitness TikToks that come up for me they're doing the most. The most ever.
She said they do it the most. I saw a guy get ready with me to go to the gym on TikTok the other day, and his skin routine was
more extensive than mine.
More extensive than mine. I was like, what is that? Yeah. What's he doing? What's that?
Yeah.
It was crazy, but he had his shirt off and he was doing all sensual. He was
of course. Of course.
Put my moisturizer on. I was like, this guy's doing the most. He's doing the mostest.
Doing the most.
Anyways, yeah, that's just my feelings on that. I'm about it.
We're part of the problem.
I'm a part of the problem. I buy containers for my containers.
I'm working on that.
Yeah.
You would be proud of my new place. I need to have you over.
I know. I need to.
Soon.
I'm going to come in and be like, okay, let's organize, bitch.
No, yeah. You can fix everything I've done wrong.
Let's do it. Anyways, for the first episode of Gym Girl Basics, we are going back to the basics, where we realized that we're kind of further along in our fitness industry, but we really want to go back and get into the mindset of what it was like when we first started, because there's so much information out there, misinformation. It's almost like information overload.
Yeah.
So we want to start from the beginning and really just break down aspects that can help you in your journey so that you don't have to look in a bunch of places. You don't have to get confused all the time. Yeah. And maybe your trial and error will be a little bit less than ours were, because I tried a lot of things.
Oh, same.
Failed a lot.
Oh, same.
Tried again. Yeah, it was mainly because I would just get bored and be like, let's do it again. Try something different.
Maybe if I do this the same for the third time, I'll get a different result. Yeah. And it's no.
I did that with my workout programs. It was I did it for a week and my glutes didn't grow. And I was like, let's change it.
That's what everyone does.
Yeah.
We're starting with this first little tidbit on the Gym Girl Basic with debunking some myths, because I feel so much, like you said, information overload is thrown at you, especially in the beginning, that you don't know what's true anymore. You don't know what you see on one girl's TikTok, you then start implementing, and she could have had information completely wrong.
Yeah. And it could just be something that works for her and only be something that she likes and enjoys. Because I'm even down to morning routines and things, and things that people do. You might see someone who has a 10 million step morning routine, but that's because they're able to do that. They maybe don't have kids. They maybe they're single. They're living alone. They work from home. They have all the time in the world. Whereas you're okay, I only have time 5 minutes to meditate, and that's about it. And I need to grab my breakfast and go and drop my kids off. It's different for everybody. So you're right.
That's my TikTok.
Done.
Yeah, I love that one.
You're done.
Anyway, yeah. So we're just like debunking some fitness myths that either we've ever heard or are just like so commonly spread. Like some stuff I hear, I'm like, like from clients and other people I work with on like the daily life who aren't super invested into fitness, but just like know what they were taught when they were younger. I'm like, who told you that? And like, you haven't been having salt your whole life because you think it makes you fat. Like just the littlest, like little myths.
The one thing that makes me realize that a lot of people do think the same thing is when I talk to my mom, because there's literally a age demographic to where they were taught certain things. Like if you just look at like what magazine covers said when, say, your mom or your dad or anybody around you was growing up. So what the magazine cover said when my mom was my age, like completely different than what it says now.
Yeah.
Like now, at least there's a little bit more focus on like muscle, but it's...
And health.
And health in general.
It's not just let's be as thin as humanly possible.
And looking different.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy to see like how it's all changed. So we're going to debunk some of these things. So what's number one, Kendi?
The first one is spot reduction. So many clients come to me. So many people in general just are like, I want to lose my belly fat.
What do you mean? You can't just choose an area and say, bye-bye, fat.
Exactly.
Fat
like,
be gone.
So I hear all the time of like, well, I want to gain muscle in my legs and lose fat in my stomach. And I'm like, well, girly, you can't do both. Not at the same time.
What if there was an app where you literally just like pull up the app and you're like, okay, big butt, yes, check. Skinny waist, check.
And then you hit submit and it happens.
Yeah.
That sounds painful if I'm being honest.
That's what people want to happen.
Yeah. So many people have this misconception that like you can just spot reduce or, oh, I have fat in my arms. I just want to lose it there, but I like the rest of my body. I want to keep that the same. It is not up to you. I am so sorry, but your genetics will play a huge role in where you hold fat. And typically, sadly, those areas where we hold more fat is the last to lose fat when you're losing weight.
It's the first to gain and the last to lose.
Exactly. So you need to just lose body fat overall. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to get to a pretty lean point to maybe see results in your arms, if that's your weak point, or in your love handles, if that's your weak point. It's not, you can't just like do side crunches and curls and like you're going to lose fat there.
Exactly. And I think that the crunches thing is one of the biggest ones, is that like, okay, I want to have abs and I want them to show. And if I just do like a bajillion crunches, they'll come out. But
I thought that for so many years.
Me too. That's the era of the Pinterest crunch.
Yes.
Like little photo where it showed you every little
what
thing.
You're talking about.
And you're like, yes, this is the way.
Yeah.
This is the only way.
But no, if you're not losing overall body fat on your whole body, you're never going to see those abs come through. Yeah, you can develop muscle in different areas. And I even wrote down on like our little cheat sheet that like you can change your body composition through weight training, but that doesn't lose body fat. Like you still have to do the work to lose the weight.
Exactly. Like for example, when we're in the off season, we're carrying a little bit more body fat. Working on those areas are still really important. And I don't want you to think like when you're hearing this, you're like, oh, well, if I'm not going to be able to see it immediately, then like, what's the point? But the purpose of like going into a more eating more calories, lifting heavier, having more energy in off-season phases so that you can build on those areas. And it's like you're storing them for winter. You know what I mean? Like you're storing them there. You can't really see them
more so
yet.
for summer. But
yeah, for summer. Yeah. We're in the winter and we're storing them. But they're going to come out in summer when we go on our shred. So same thing with like your glutes. You can keep training your glutes just as hard as you want to and that you possibly can, so that when you go and shred, then you can see all the progress that is built. Yes. Same thing was with the abs. And I love what you said was you can train them all you want, but if your body fat's not low enough, you might not see them. Yeah. There is girls and guys where they're more genetically gifted in that area where they like literally always have abs.
But they may hold more fat in like their hamstring and glute, and maybe they're self-conscious of that. So don't compare yourself either to like, I want that girl's body type. It's like, we're always going to find something we don't love.
Yeah.
So
I am not the person that has abs year round. I am the person that gains fat in my stomach first and loses it last. It's literally the last thing for me to go.
Yeah.
The very last thing for me to go. And I literally can't see my abs until like show day.
So you know? Recently, I think like with how my body's matured, I get abs pretty easily, but I'm holding a lot more in my arms. So I talked about it a little in the last episode coming out Wednesday. we're not sure yet, that I'm holding more body fat in my arms, and it's making me a little self-conscious of how big my arms are now, but I'm not holding as much in my stomach. So it's kind of a give and take. You can't choose where
now
you
just look like an hourglass.
It.
Oh, poor me.
I do not. I do not. I look like a twig with muscle on it.
Kendall, it's just so hard being this pretty.
Shut up.
Oh, I just wake up and exude
My
confidence.
life is so hard.
My life is so hard.
Do you want to go into the second myth?
That's a good one. Myth number 2. Carbs will make you fat. Boo.
I feel like this one's coming from our parents' generation where they were taught like, well, you can't eat anything because when you eat, that's going to immediately turn to fat.
Too much calories make you fat. If this is the actual like truth, is too many calories for your body weight is what makes you fat.
Yes.
And the reason I think that people put carbs in that point is because carbs are like, they're one of the most addicting things for people to eat. So people do eat carbs in excess more often than any other thing. Like when you're craving, what are the things that you usually crave? It's like chips, popcorn, like snacks, like carbs. Even like ice cream. Yes, it has a high fat count, but a really high carb count.
Yeah.
You know, these things have such high carbs. So people think, okay, well, then the solution is to just cut them all out.
Yeah.
Which ends
they're making me fat.
Yes, that's what's making me fat. But the excess of that, anything in excess is going to eventually be your downfall.
But like you need carbs to have energy. You need carbs to get a pump in your workout. Like they're still super vital. And I think something to note is there are 2 different main overarching types of carbs. There's simple carbs and complex carbs. Simple being the cookies, the ice cream, the chips, and then complex being the sweet potato, the rice, like the carbs that are good for fueling you.
Exactly.
So just choose the right carbs. Yeah. Carbs as a whole does not make you fat, but if your only carb source is cookies
are simple carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're quick and they're fast and you get energy quick and fast, but it deflates very easily.
And it does not keep you full very long. So that's when you notice, like if you have a lot of simple carbs in your diet, you're going to get, do I have them backwards? Simple is like the more processed, correct?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Okay. I'm like self-doubting myself.
Yeah.
If I have them flipped, I am so sorry. Maybe look it up, but you know what I'm saying is like the processed versus the non-processed carbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a really just difference in nutrition that you get from each anyways, like longevity wise of how long you want the sustainable energy, things like sweet potatoes, white rice. I mean, even white rice is a little bit, some people say controversial. Brown rice might be better because it has a lot of fiber. In white rice, they strip more of the fiber out, but whatever. And, but yeah, it's true. This is why you notice where in your diet, if you're eating things that are higher fat, sugar, and carbs that are really quick, like McDonald's and candies, is that like you have that burst of energy, but then you crash and you feel so sluggish and gross. It's like a pendulum.
Yeah.
Once you go super high and you feel one way with the kind of food, the pendulum has to swing and you crash on the other end.
You get really fatigued and unmotivated. And so, yeah, definitely assess what type of carbs you're having, but carbs do not on their own make someone fat.
I mean, even in bodybuilding, like coaches, I'd say they use carbs the most to manipulate out of anything. Like that's why when you're stripping down for competition, you might like start really dwindling down on the amount of calories that you have. But when you're trying to make your body look the absolute most baller physique ever, you start feeling, literally filling up with carbohydrates so that your muscles absorb it and you look insane. That's why people look so huge, pumped, jacked, shredded on stage, is because of carbohydrates.
Like I
don't know why I'm C-bum.
You're doing the C-bum pose.
Anyways,
Yeah. Carbs will not make you fat. The next one is lifting weights will make you bulky. And this one is a pet peeve because if you talk to anyone with muscle mass, they have been training for years to get the muscle mass they have.
I would say, bish, I wish.
I like, we were just talking about our training splits. I have been training shoulders to try to get them capped for 7 years now. If you think you're going to pick up a dumbbell one time and like capped shoulders, giant biceps.
Tell me how.
Like you clearly have cracked the code.
Tell me how. Tell me the roadmap. I want to look at my quads and I want them to get bigger. No, actually, I want to look at
yours kind of do that.
That already happens. I want to look at my glutes the wrong way and then just literally go.
No, yeah.
I want that to be the case.
It will not make you bulky. Obviously, if you're training with the intent to bulk and gain muscle, yes, you will get those results. But it is, first off, not immediate. Like you have to train for months consistently to even see results of muscle gain, unless you are a genetic freak, which then all the power to you. Maybe stay away from dumbbells.
Yeah.
But
what I feel like there's two different things that happens, I think, when people think about this myth. Number one is just the stereotype of women who lift are going to look like men, and women need to be feminine and skinny and this and that. That's like the number one thing that I think a certain generation is focused on with this myth. My mom thought this very much so. And it's definitely not the case. Like I was the one to explain to her, like, no, Mom.
Yeah.
Like being skinny is out, lady. Being strong is in, woman.
Yeah.
And twofold. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
Twofold is not the society telling us what to do. Twofold is that people start lifting, but they don't do anything with their diet. Their diet stays the same, so they equate. Is that the word? I just don't know words today.
We're really throwing it out there.
They equate the build and the bulkiness to the muscle, when what's happening is you are building muscle, but you also still have the same amount of body fat that you had before, and your diet hasn't changed. So yes, you're going to get bigger or bulkier because you're not watching what you're eating.
Yeah.
Versus if you really clean up your diet and you're still eating a maintainable amount of calories where you have a lot of energy, you have a lot of strength in the gym, and you just clean it up, have a little bit less of the McDonald's, a little bit less of the gummy worms. I'm talking to myself. And you lift with intention, you aren't going to see the bulkiness. You're going to be like, oh shit, I'm looking fine.
Yeah, you'll like gain lean mass, but unless you're very forcefully bulking, you're not going to get bulky. Yeah, or like you said, if you're like miseating and like don't understand, then maybe you'll gain body fat and misinterpret that as like I'm getting huge.
Exactly. You might have some muscle under that body fat. You know what I mean? Storing it for the winter or for the summer.
This next one's controversial, and I know you do fasted cardio, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. The next one is that fasted cardio burns more fat than non-fasted or fed cardio. I
don't think so. Okay. I mean, the studies show that like there's a potential for there to be like maybe a little bit more
it's
that
such
happens.
A small percentage also.
It's like, nah, I just do fasted cardio because of my schedule. And that's literally it. And when I tell people, I'm like, I'm going to do my fasted cardio, I don't even know why I say fasted anymore, because it is fasted because when I wake up at like 6 a.m. or 5:30, I'm not hungry right away. So of course I'm going to go do it fasted because I'm not going to eat and then go and do cardio. I don't like having food in my stomach in the morning that early when I'm going to do fasted cardio. Like I will throw up, especially when I get to a certain point in prep where I'm doing like hours or an hour or something, I will for sure throw up.
Yeah. You're not doing it because you're like, I'm gaining or I'm losing like 1 more pound of fat by doing it this way.
Oh, no.
Same thing for me. And that's like what I had written down is it's usually just a preference. Some people like doing it at the end of the day. I personally like doing fasted just because I like getting it out of the way. I don't want to have to think about my cardio later because then I'll dread it. Yeah. So, but there really isn't a benefit. I know I listen to a lot of Jeff Nippard and like
I love him.
BioLane, I forget his like full name. Both really good in like the scientific field of fitness, and both of them have broken down that there really isn't a substantial enough difference between
for you
these.
to like really make it a priority. Yeah. And if there's something that if that's something that you can't do and have time for, don't do it. I have time to be able to go to the gym 2 times a day, and that's the routine that I love. Is I love waking up, I love doing my journaling, I love going and do my fasted cardio, I come home, I start work for the day, I go and train later to the gym. So I'm going to the gym twice a day. If that's something that you can't do, don't do it.
Yeah.
Do not do it. I just can do it and I enjoy it, so that's why I'm going to do it, but do cardio when you have the most energy.
I think that too, like when I'm in prep and I have like 2 hours of cardio to do for the day, I like splitting it up because doing it all at once, I know you used to do that. Like I would cry my eyes out.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, maybe not a bad idea. So I would prefer doing like an hour in the morning and then like an hour when I'm at the gym later after my workout.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just better for my mental health.
Yeah. And I couldn't imagine doing that much later in the day, like after my training, just personally me, I know that I don't have enough energy at like 2 p.m. 2 p.m. is when I usually start my first crash of the day. And then I go train. So then I get a little bit of a high. But personally, I have the most energy when I wake up in the morning. It's from like when I wake up until 2 p.m. is my big first energy break. And then
it's like
have like my pre-workout or whatever. So I use that to my advantage. So really just when you have the energy, go and do your cardio. It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't make a big difference.
Timing
That's
doesn't
something
matter.
I like fully when I started my fitness gym. Hello.
When I started my fitness gym called Kendi Squats.
When I started like my fitness journey, that's the right word. I fully thought like fasted cardio was like the answer.
I do too. And what's crazy is like, there's kind of this like weird mental thing that happens where your stomach's empty and you're doing cardio and you're like, I'm a skinny legend. Like you genuinely think that you're losing weight or something because your stomach is empty. And you're like, yeah.
I like, so like another controversial, and this isn't like on the myth side at all, just like a personal preference. I like working out fasted. If I can get to the gym at 10 a.m. and have nothing in my system, I know it is better and like more beneficial for muscle gain if I eat something before I go. But I just personally feel good when I'm fasted. Like I like getting my workout in. So that's just another preference. Like I know I could be gaining more if I ate before my workout, like my actual like weight training session, but I just like it. I like being fasted.
And also like a little side tip to that is if you do like training fasted and you have trouble having food in the morning, you can just do like an intra workout. Like First Form has a intra formance, which is just carbs, literally liquid carbs that you can shake and you can have that so that you can have some form of carbs, but you don't have like the food sitting in your stomach.
Got it.
Side note of the side note.
Nice.
Next myth is oh God, this is my favorite, that you don't need rest days. Just keep grinding and just like go for it, because if more is better, that's a really long myth, but it's not true.
Just know the hustle mentality works to a certain point and it does not work in fitness. You will get burnt out. You will get fatigued. You will get injured. Like I'd see zero benefit to not taking an off day.
It's really not. You don't recover. It's almost like you're going backwards. Like you're genuinely going backwards because you can't approach your next training day with a fresh body, with a refreshed body, with no fatigue in your legs. Rest days are so important. If you want to level up your training and see more gains, even though it's going to be like pulling teeth for someone who loves to train, take 2 rest days a week.
We both take 2.
Yeah. Literally. And we talk about it in our Wednesday episode, our actual training split. So please listen to that because get it through your little thick head.
You listen here, punk.
You listen here, you little P-word. You're not a P-word, I love you.
What was I going to say? That goes into like culture right now is very much so like, I want a big butt again. Like that's what a lot of girls are training for. And so I could see young girls going in and just training glutes like 4 or 5 times a week. And if you're not resting, if you're hitting it every day, you're not giving your body enough time to actually develop that muscle because you're only tearing it down and you're not giving it the rest to build it up.
Exactly.
So you're not going to see results. You're going to get discouraged. So give yourself a break, train other muscle groups. If you need to get to the gym 6 times a week for whatever reason, for your mental sanity, at least split up what you're training, maybe go light on some of those days. Like not every day has to be like, we're going to max out on this day.
Yeah. But like also just like assess, why do you need to go to the gym every day? Like what are you avoiding?
Good point.
You know, it's like people are like, I have to go, or like something like my mental health. Yes, the gym can be used as a very great place to like let stuff out, but don't let that be the only place that you do that, because you're going to let it build. Trust me, the only reason I'm speaking about this is because I do it, and you're going to let it build up and eventually it's going to come out. So yeah, take your freaking rest days.
Very important. The next one is the one I like mildly alluded to earlier, is that salt is bad for you. And you're not losing weight because you have too much salt in your diet.
I salt my salt.
I love salt. But my mom is one of those people.
My mom is too.
Yeah, where she claims she doesn't like salt, but I know it comes from that generation of learning that like sodium equals water retention, which is so false. Sodium, if you're consistent, your body will be consistent and you'll regulate.
100%.
The only time sodium makes you hold water is if you're fluctuating like insane. Like if you're eating 10 pounds of like, you go to a Mexican restaurant, they have that like endless chip bag, right? And you're eating all these chips that have so much salt on them. And then the next day you have no salt in your diet because you're one of those people that are like, I stay away from sodium. And then the next day you have high salt context again. Maybe you have some like nuts or something. Your body doesn't know what it's getting, so it starts to hold on to water.
People would be surprised of how much salt I have. I literally put a 4th teaspoon of Himalayan salt in my pre/intra workout.
Does it give you a pump? That too.
Yeah.
If you're not getting a pump or like any sort of like vascular benefit during your workout, that's a sign that your sodium's too low. Like you can totally be too low.
Yeah. Mine is like I love how you put that. If you're like consistent with where you are, because I feel like mine's like consistently quote unquote like higher.
Same.
But like if I went lower, I think I would start feeling very, very fatigued. And if I went like crazy higher, then maybe I would start being swollen. But my body is so used to being consistent. And also, if my mom is listening, she didn't salt our food enough as a child.
So you're making up for it?
So we salt everything, even when my mom makes it before tasting it, and she gets so mad.
That's funny.
So try not to do that, but I definitely do that because my mom deprived me of salt.
I would say my salt is probably like normal, but again, like it's pretty consistent. Like I use the same seasonings on my food and I eat the same snacks. So like as long as you're not crazy
or you have
every
like
day.
a health condition to where you have to monitor it, please for sure monitor # we are not doctors.
Yes.
We just do fitness things. But yeah, unless you have a specific reason to where you really need to be watching it, as long as you're consistent with it. And I love the example that you used about it being high and being low. The best example that I like is that Zach and I, we keep a very consistent level of our salt intake. And then when Zach and I will have like a weekend where we go out, we have margaritas, we have fajitas, we have chips, we have queso.
I love me a Mexican restaurant.
Oh yeah. That's our date. Our date is, I call it margaritas and fajitas. And all I do is, I can't do it now, but because I'm in prep, but I'll look at him and be like, margaritas and fajitas. And we're like, let's do it. And then we have ice cream after that. Zach is a kind of person who his face and body reacts to salt like crazy. I call him the bulldog because when he wakes up in the morning, he already has chubby cheeks, and it's after a night of eating like that. He wakes up and his skin is like sagging. It's so swollen. And I'm like, what up, little bulldog? And you can't see his eyes because there's so much chub around his face. And
that's how I literally felt yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I'm having some like hypertension, like blood pressure issues just from like a medication I take. And I had a lot of salt yesterday. That's why I felt so swollen and like awful, which we talked about.
Side note, today I bought one of those Amazon ice rollers.
Oh, I was going to order one. One of those in the beginning when we talked about like men being extra too. It's because I saw a guy like ice rolling. That? Yes. And I was like, oh, I actually might buy one of those.
I bought it because of Zach waking up looking like a bulldog on Monday. And I was like, he needs this also. I think I was just making an excuse.
Depuff. I still feel swollen today. So hopefully you can't tell on camera.
But a cheap version of doing that, if you don't want to buy it, literally get an ice cube. I've been doing this. Get an ice cube and literally upwards motions to your face. We should go over a whole like self-care thing.
I would actually,
Let's do that.
That's like fun. A topic I want to go into is like self-care outside of fitness also. I'm down. I feel like I can learn a lot from you.
I know.
But overall, salt might make you hold water if you're inconsistent, but it's not the reason you're not losing weight. That is not a factor I would look at all. Yeah. Unless, again, you do have like a medical, like high blood pressure and other things can lead to swelling.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do that. Yeah. Try adding a 4th teaspoon of salt into your, it doesn't have to be Himalayan salt. That's just the only thing I have.
That's
into
all I
your
have too.
Intra-workout.
Ooh, the last one.
Last but not least.
If you're not sore the next day, your workout wasn't good enough.
That is a fact, and I know it. No, I'm just kidding.
That's one that took me a long time to realize isn't true.
I'm still part of the problem.
Yeah.
I think because today I'm sore and I'm like, yeah, I did a good job, and really. Soreness, it was okay.
Soreness, if you look at it, is just like our body's chemical response to inflammation from like working out.
Yeah.
If you're recovering really well and like, I know you drink a ton of water, but if you're like hydrated and like have enough BCAAs, whether you're intaking some or like eating enough, your body should recover enough to not be super sore the next day. Like if anything, it can be, especially like DOMS, which is like delayed onset muscle soreness, can be a sign. Have you never heard of that? Or
no, but that's just me.
Okay.
Tomorrow is going to be a hell of a day because I trained legs yesterday.
Yeah. So DOMS is like a telltale sign that like your recovery could be better. No offense.
Yeah. Well, and you're right, because this is my first week back of training, which is a perfect example because I am going to feel super sore every single day. And I already know that. And I'm expecting that because my body hasn't been training at this intensity for a couple of weeks now.
I bet it feels good though.
Yeah. I'm loving it. It's just I'm walking around like, ow,
Yeah.
ow. But that's normal because think back to when you first started training and you were basically sore all the time. And you start to think like, oh, since I'm sore, that means I'm working the muscles. It's because your body isn't used to having that feeling.
Yeah.
Your body and your muscles aren't used to that tearing that you're doing, that breaking down and putting it back together. It's kind of like if you're a seasoned lifter and you change your workout routine to something completely different, your body's also not used to that because you've been training a certain way for a certain amount of time and you add a different kind of workout in and then you're sore because that muscle is being worked in a way that it hasn't before. So it's like, yo, what's going on? That hurts. You haven't targeted my side glute in a long time.
Versus so like if you squat every leg day, odds are squats are no longer going to make you sore.
Yeah,
you
my
just
legs
get used
feel
to
nothing.
It. Yeah,
my legs can take so much like pain, but not this week. Like this week, my quads are getting pumped and they're getting sore super fast because they're not used to it. But at a certain point, it's almost like your muscles turn into like leather. And they can just like take more. I don't know.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, they're like more durable.
Yeah, they're more durable.
The more you get them used to. But like I love being sore personally. And similar to you, I'm like, oh, I had a really good leg day yesterday. Like my legs are sore, but it really is not an indicating factor. Like, yes, that might feel good, but also the flip side, if you wake up and you're not sore, you could have the same exact level of benefits and just not feel it.
Exactly. Your body can just handle it a little bit more. And that's pretty cool to think of too.
Yeah, if anything, it's a good thing.
I love this last one was like, honestly, kind of something we struggle.
Yeah.
The other ones, I'm like, yeah, no, those are myths. But this last one, I'm like, wait.
I love like doing these because there's really so many, and all of the ones that like I had picked, and we could easily do a second episode to this if like you like it. But like all the ones I picked were like, I believed that at one point. I believe that at one point, like all ones that I resonate with. So
I feels that.
But they're all lies.
It's all a lie.
Everything.
We're here to tell you everything's a lie.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Some things are true. Some things. And we'll tell you which ones they are. But that is the first episode of our Gym Girl Basics. Let us know in the comments or DM us, email us at knowyourpowerpodcast@gmail.com. Your stories, your comments, your concerns. Yes. Tell us about your mom, your cat, your dog. We want to start
including you guys more and making it feel a little more like a community. So like any topic, like it could be the most unhinged, like non-fitness related, like still send it our way. And like if we can make an episode around it or address it, like it makes it fun.
Yeah. I even met someone at the gym who was typing out a message to us and she said that she deleted it and didn't want to send. I was like, no. And I get that. Like it's kind of, you think like things might be too personal. Share what you want.
We talked about IUDs last week, you guys.
Yeah, we hear the craziest, like the most insane things, and we're willing to tell you guys like our personal journeys too, and we're in this together. So message us, DM us, whatever, contact us in some sort of way. But as always, we love you all so much, and you're more powerful than you think.
Bye.
Bye.